Welcome back to another episode of Cape Ann Today. I am with one Gloucester Times reporter, Ethan Forman, today. Hi, Ethan.
Hey, how you doing, Heather?
I'm good. I'm good. I know Stephen's off doing a story. So tell me what's going on with you.
Well, it's been a really busy time in the seaport for everything. Last week, I went to actually two flag raisings in the past week. One for LGBTQ flag, pride flag was raised for a single day, and they had a great turnout at City Hall. And I think like 75 people were there, and a lot of kids too. Really great event. Kids are feeling a little bit put under. I think it's a hard time in their lives, and it was a great outpouring as well uh, in support. So it was great. And I met Amanda Cook, and I believe her kid Ash Cook, the valedictorian last year, was there as well. Read a poem by Amanda Gorman, and it was a really good event. It was a really good event. Just great support. The Wear Orange, I had attended it last year. It was better attended last year than it was this year. But one of the things that I've learned is that gun violence, there was a loss of a couple of young people, one at Gloucester High and one at a college in West Barrington, I believe. Galen,
Galen,
and
yeah,
Gibson.
yes.
And the emotions about those two losses were just as raw as if they'd happened yesterday
Yeah.
for some of the participants. And Margaret Ferrante lost a friend, classmate, and that really brought it home to me to realize that when we're talking about gun violence prevention, we're not just talking about what it means, which is the psychological impact from these shootings reverberates for decades. People don't get over these things, and so I think that's needs to be talked about as well. So as much as we want to talk about gun laws and everything like that, look at the toll that this. And then it was also brought up too that there was that swatting incident. I know some of our readers didn't like the term swatting incident at St. John's Prep, and it was also pointed out at that Wear Orange event at the City Hall that kids were just scared. It was a terrifying experience for people, and this didn't even involve an actual shooter. So, in my opinion, I think we gotta get a handle on this, because it's not only causing mayhem physically, but also psychologically as well.
Mhm. I want to return really quickly to the LGBTQ event. As you were talking, I was thinking it probably does feel so good, even if a child is not struggling with their sexuality, but they just feel maybe marginalized for some reason, to see the community come together and support children who are suffering or wondering or confused, to look and see that there are adults in this community who care about kids and their problems, and adults and their problems. So I think that's got to be just feel supportive in so many ways.
Yeah, the whole idea of the Pride flag raising is everyone is included. It's an inclusive idea. We're all accepting of each other. And there's a lot of young people I have a transgender kid. And so the idea isn't like there's this notion of you raising the flag or following a flag. No, it's all come together. And for this month, we kind of say, hey, it's okay. You're accepted. You can live your authentic life in public and not worry. But it's a worrying thing. I don't want to get into national politics or anything like that, but it's some worrying things out there. So this was a great event. It was really well attended this year. Very well attended.
So there have been some big stories in this city that sort of have emotional resonance. Tell us about Willow Rest and the East Gloucester time capsule.
Yeah, I guess you put a good point on it. These are kind of endings. Last week I went to the goodbye party, saying farewell to East Gloucester Elementary School. And, as an outsider, and I am an outsider to the city, and you come into the community and you hear about there's a school closing when I first got here. And when you are in the hallway and you're seeing alumni of the school, both young and old, and they're heartbroken, that their school's closing. I don't know what, I'm sure the same thing happened with when Veterans Memorial closed. And I know there's been a lot of upset about the loss of Mados Field and the school. And the mayor attended Veterans Memorial. And then to meet people who were in some of the first students to attend the school. It was built in, I think, I learned I learned through the opening of the time capsule the other day that the school was built in 1948 and opened in 1949. The cornerstone on the building says 1948. But you learn from these people who've seen this, been attending the school for decades. It's been part of their lives. You know, it's a hard thing to let go. You know, when your school closes. But you know, this isn't a comment on the school building project. Please don't take that in any way. That school building is like a spaceship. It's great, and they had to do something. You know, the school, that East Gloucester school's tired, but you know, for what it's worth, I attended the time capsule meeting, and it was interesting because they read a letter that was written when the time capsule was sealed, and they were saying, if you're reading this now, the school's about to be demolished.
Oh, that's
And everybody was like, how do they know that? It was the funniest thing, you know. If you
amazing.
they had blueprints, who was mayor, we just forget all these things. I mean, just a decade or two,
Yeah.
things people forget. And I think it brought home to the kids. All the kids were there out front watching this time capsule being opened.
Mm.
The message from long ago, they also had opened the time capsule about 25 years ago. And here's a very interesting thing. They opened the time capsule and it's really cool. The Gloucester Daily Times is in that time capsule from 75 years ago. It's also in there from 25 years ago. And they pull out an article about the gathering for the opening of the time capsule in 25 years ago. And there's an article, it's 1998, there's an article by Gail McCarthy.
That's amazing.
Gail was in the time capsule. I felt
Writing
bad. I was like, I'm not trying to tell anyone Gail's age.
No, well,
But
she was like maybe 15.
yeah, she's, everyone's like, yeah, she was 6 when she wrote it. But
Savant. Yeah.
it was interesting because I didn't have the name of the first principal of the school, and I was able to zoom in on a photo and find out it was Muriel Rogers. She attended the 50th anniversary of the school in
Oh,
1998,
wow.
98, 99. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm sure not trying to read the date. Anyway, 25 years ago, and Gail was there writing about education in Gloucester, and they put it in the time capsule and stuck it behind a wall for another 25 years. And that time capsule was located at the cornerstone of if you know East Gloucester School, this is 1948, right there, like a light in hide in plain sight, right back of that bit of granite.
Yeah.
So
So
really cool.
I'm sure there's going to be an edition of the Gloucester Times in a time capsule in the East Veterans School, right?
Yeah, so Matt Fusco, the principal of the school, was saying, we're gonna put this stuff on display at the school, and then we're gonna take it over to the new school, and in the fall they're gonna have a time capsule.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's so in 50, that'll be opened in 50 and 75 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Who were some of the oldest alumni there? What years had they been there? Were there any, people from the 50s who had attended?
When I went to the farewell, I don't have their names off the top of my head, but I did meet some people who were there. There
Yeah.
was like 3 generations. I met someone who went there who was like either the 3rd or 4th grader,
Mhm.
and then her daughter-in-law was there as well, and then her granddaughter. So it was
Yeah.
like 3 generations who'd gone through East Gloucester, and they were sad about it.
Mhm.
It's your school. It's where you went. It's where your memories are. You go back to the place and you relive those memories. So they
Yeah.
want to have that opportunity. But again, there are questions within the neighborhood about what's going to happen with the playground structure. There's going to be raised for open space. Probably will become a great amenity for the neighborhood.
Mhm.
It's not a lot of open space in Gloucester, as you know. So this will be a pretty great amenity.
But they are not keeping the playground structures there, or they're not.
I don't know what the fate is. I know that I don't know how new they are, being fairly new, but I think that's in under discussion. So I think the discussion around the school is going to start to the fate of the school is going to start to heat up. It's got to be declared surplus by the school committee and then the city council. But the plan all along is to raise it, and they have to tear it down because they lost portions of Mados Field, and so I think they're saying, well, we got to recreate some of that open space there as well.
Well, and tell us about Willow Rest. A lot of people are asking.
And again, being kind of an outsider, I'd only pass by Willow Rest, and my impression of it was, what a neat place. What a funky place. Like chairs outside. I guess there's no gas there, but they did keep the sign gas and diesel.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe somebody new to Gloucester, they're running low on gas and they stop at Willow Rest. But I guess, I don't know how it's been to have various incarnations over the years. And it's a landmark. And I met Melissa, the proprietor, and she was just torn up. She was torn up. This person really cared about this place and just could not get the staffing to keep it going. I guess it closed over COVID, and that's reopened as a store. And it just, the business model wouldn't work. Like, she told me they were down 3 staff, for a very small business. Can't open the kitchen if you have no one to cook, So that was a big thing. She was so sweet, and people were coming in, giving her hugs. People were just stopping by just to give her hugs. They had a sale over the last few days. They might have had one again to sell off some of the stock that they had. But I think people were just coming in just to say hi.
So Ethan, was this really a case of her looking at the summer season and
Yeah, that's what she said. She said, I'm, she's gonna try to go through the summer, see if the business model worked again, and without staff, she couldn't do it.
Right. So, and that meant keeping the kitchen going, where she was serving lunches and some dinners, pizzas and things like that, right? And breakfasts. And then store going.
You need to, they're probably doing takeout as well. They're doing all that stuff. And if she doesn't have the health to, she's 3 people in a small business.
Yeah,
is a lot. And I think there was the hints. If you look at the Facebook posts that she had put up, she had hinted, I've got short of staff. There was a sign on the door says if we're closed or whatever. It's because I'm short staffed in the kitchen. And I think she just came to the conclusion that it just couldn't do it. And, this is a big loss for this part of the community. Now, please be kind to me. Riverdale and Bayview and then Lanesville, right? And there used to be Captain Hook's. You get your pizza. Probably got your sandwiches at Willow Rest. Yeah, and now they're closed. It's like a really big loss, big loss for people who are passing through and for the neighborhood. So hopefully these 2 locations get reactivated soon. There's not a lot up there.
Yeah,
to grab stuff,
And there's not a gas station. That's so.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, I remember when Willow Rest first opened. I think they were still pumping gas there. It was great.
Yeah, the sign is still there. No sign of gas pumps. Now, I think there's some apartments there as well. But hopefully somebody will take it over. It's beautiful space, like a beautiful country store.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and lots of parking
with a lunch counter with stools. Yeah, plenty of parking. The way it's configured, it's nice.
Yeah. Well, it certainly is the issue of the decade, the staffing issue. I don't, it's everybody is talking about that.
Yeah, Topside Grill, when they are in a new incarnation now, but when they went out, the proprietor was nice to talk to me, and he said, I couldn't get staffing.
Right. And my favorite place, Steve Connolly, closed because restaurants were closing. And they were, wholesale suppliers of fish to so many restaurants. And, if they didn't have restaurants to supply, they had no purpose in Gloucester or Cape Ann. Is
Yeah, and I think that was also, was there some consolidation too of their operations?
yeah, maybe that was
Yeah, but yeah, but I mean, you have a less. Yeah, I'm curious as to what's going in there. So I've heard some rumors, but I don't want to spread rumors.
this is into Steve Connolly. Into
Yeah,
that. Yeah. Yeah. No, well, let's hope that something happens in Willow Rest, and we wish Melissa and her family the best. Um,
yeah,
yeah. So I know she has another operation in Beverly, right?
yeah. If you want to catch up with her, Vidalia's in
Yes.
Beverly Farms, not that far. It's on West Street. It's actually on the corner of 127, and it's right there.
Yeah.
I stop and I sometimes go cycling up there, and it's a landmark in Beverly Farms as well.
Right.
And
Right.
she's going to continue her catering as well. So
But-
if you look up Vidalia's, you'll be able to reach out to her.
okay, great. So what kind of stories are you working on right now?
Well, I did get a couple things going in the coming days. I took a walk around the Rockport section of Dogtown, and was shown a stand of beech trees. All the beech trees are dying. The leaves are turning to leather, and it's like fall. And so apparently there's a nematode that's attacking the leaves. The trees are really stressed. They're growing these big giant leaves. And yeah, so I'm going to be reaching out to some arborists and see the extent of the problem. It's not just Dogtown; it's come up the coast, and I imagine people will notice it if it attacks the ornamentals. Some of these beech trees are really old, and so I think that it maybe hasn't really hit people's consciousness yet, but it's pretty bad. What I saw was just really widespread. The other thing I'm working on is there was an update from the mayor's office this week about the work that's going on Main Street in Gloucester. You go down to Gloucester, you want to get a sandwich at Virgilio's. It's not a place to park, and there's trench work going on everywhere. And now it's Gloucester's 400th anniversary, and you got all that going. So the mayor's office is instructing National Grid. I guess that's great to be the mayor. You can tell them to stop.
So all that work is being done by National Grid, and
Yeah, it's gas line work, and so they're gonna like put it on hiatus.
oh, so that
gotta
we can
find
have
out
the
what's going on.
summer and we can have the Gloucester 400 without everything being ripped up.
Well, not just the Gloucester 400, so the merchants can, this is their season.
Yeah, right, right.
This is the season. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like it's you can find a parking space on Main Street in sometime in December, and there's no line at Virgilio's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Not anymore.
So what you're saying is it's been so hard to find parking because everything's been ripped up.
Everything's closed. Like they closed off the streets in front of the businesses. It's like,
Oh,
yeah, it was yeah. So projects will stop for the summer. The National Grid and some contractors will begin demobilization as quickly as possible.
oh, that's
So
great.
I got to get down there and see what's going on.
I did notice that I was going to Alexandra's Bread, and I noticed there was a bunch of work right in front of their shop. And I thought, oh, that's got to stink for John and Alexandra. So
Well, it's supposed to be done. It was supposed to be done this spring, but it's taken longer than expected. So
all right, so we can look forward to a story about that in the paper soon.
working on that.
Great. All right, get going, keep working. We love your stories. We thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. It's an honor to cover Gloucester.
Hi, Ethan.
Thanks.
Interested in a sponsorship? Email sponsor@1623studios.org to learn more.